Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends The Void Build-A-Figure wave. Justice. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become my channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at the Marvel Legends The Void Build-A-Figure wave. As in front of me today we have a character we have never had in the Marvel Legends line before. It is of course New Warriors, Justice. Now this is more of a modern costume design for Justice, not so much his early Marvel boy look, but more on that a little bit later. The figure itself looks very nice and it's always great adding new characters to the collection. You can't avoid him, however, if you're trying to build the Void Build-A-Figure, as there are some pieces at the back there. He himself just comes with some interchangeable hands. So we get New Warriors, Justice on the front, comic image on the side, that same image on the back of the box from the New Warriors. Then we get a write-up that reads, "A mutant with telekinetic powers, Justice fights alongside his heroes as the leader of the New Warriors." And then as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to build the Void Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Justice. So I will explain more as we get it open, as I know exactly where this costume comes from. Let's open him up. Here we have Vance out of the packaging with all of his accessories, which again is a bit of a stretch as he only comes with a set of interchangeable hands. And I know this isn't accurate to his early costume, but I still think they've missed a trick, as they could have gave us an interchangeable head, which is more accurate to those early days, to give us some display options. But just an idea, here we have the Build-A-Figure pieces for the Void, so you know what to do, subscribe and come back to the channel as soon we will build and review the Void Build-A-Figure. I'll move them to the side. I'll move these to the side. Let's get the tape measure out. So he is on old legs and old arms. So we have got pins on the arms, pins on the legs, which is unfortunate, but I do think it's a new torso and the head sculpt is very nice. So he is just under 6.5 inches tall. And as I said, it's based off a more modern take on his New Warriors costume. So let's just get into it and I'll explain that. So this Marvel Legends costume design for Justice best represents his look from Volume 5 of the New Warriors from 2014, where Justice and Speedball put together a new team called, wait for it, the New Warriors, with added members Nova, Sun Girl, Scarlet Spider, Water Snake and Hummingbird. But of course Justice, Vance Astrovic, former Marvel boy, is a founding member of the original 90s New Warriors, with former lover Firestar, Namorita, Nova, Speedball and their leader Night Thrasher. Zooming in, taking a closer look, like I said at the start of the video, this is a great head sculpt for Justice, and I couldn't really think of the word to describe his attire, but my good friend Rich M coined a phrase I'm curious if anyone else in existence has ever used. He used the term face sock, and I'd really want to know if anyone else would use that. Let me know in the comments. Either way, it looks like Gambit, where you got the face out and then the hair dangling over the top, and it is a solid sculpt. Really nicely done. There is a bit of washing there as well to bring out the sculpted detail. Really like it all the way around, and the head itself is on a dumbbell joint, so you can get your tilt, and also he will look down and look up as well, as he should, because he is a flyer. So yeah, really solid head sculpt there. Like it a lot. Now I do think this torso is new, so obviously the details on the torso, you've got the blues, the whites, and you've got the star with the gold and black, but his cape is actually part of his torso. If I start lifting the cape, you can see it's actually tooled in, so it's part of the torso. Done very seamlessly. I really like how natural that looks and sort of drapes over his shoulders. So when he's standing, it will look great. But yeah, you're not removing that cape at all without cutting it up here at top. So it doesn't bother me, but I know people like to know these things. So as you can see, no peg, no hole or anything like that. It is literally tooled in to the upper torso. So I do think this is new, and then the rest of the figure is reused. But we do get an ab crunch there as well. So let me zoom out. So you get his ab crunch, crunches forward decent enough. Back, he will crunch, but of course the cape will hinder it, but he will still lean back. The arms will go up to basically 90. I guess I could push them up further. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Again, you do have the thick pins, which are noticeable in the era of no pins. So I do hope we eventually get rid of them from the Marvel Legends tooling library. He comes with a set of fisted hands on the box. There is a swivel at the waist as well. Breaks up the design a tiny bit, but nothing crazy. Legs go out that much. Again, you've got pins on the knees, but they are double jointed. and they work just fine. There's a swivel at the thigh as well, also a swivel at the boot, which is good to know, ankle pivot and rocker. So standard Marvel Legends articulation for Justice, but for me, it's all about that character representation. Now, personally, I would have preferred a more accurate look to the early New Warriors days, but I still really like this modern look here. It's just going to be a while before we complete that team in plastic, as there's more to go for them than it is the originals. We just need a classic name Arita, not the one we got in this wave, but more on that in that review. But anyway, I do really like the look of this figure, and it is very naturally tooled in with that cape, so it does look aesthetically very pleasing. So if this is a look for Justice you like, you will like this figure. It just, the pins are those tiny bugbear. So as you've seen, he comes with a set of fisted hands out of the packaging, and then his only accessories was this set of open palm, more expressive hands. So they've missed the trick with effect pieces or interchangeable heads with different expressions, or as I said, a more classic head sculpt would have been nice as well. But yeah, unfortunately, this is what we get. Moving into comparisons, it made sense to start off with Vance Astrovic, and yes, another Vance Astro, but this is technically an alternative reality future version that goes off to become a founding member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But this version goes back in time and sets the 616 continuity version on a path not to become Major Victory. He doesn't go to space, doesn't get frozen. Instead, he stays on Earth, becomes Marvel Boy, joins the New Warriors, becomes Justice, joins the Avengers, and that is why we have two different versions. Sort of. That was the very simplified version. Next up, it had to be the New Warriors. Now, technically, this isn't an accurate representation of the founding members of the New Warriors, but we are getting close. So you need a Richard Rider Nova, which we have. You need a Speedball. You need a Firestar. These two used to be lovers. They nearly got married. And then we have the leader, Night Thrasher. Now, Justice's costume is obviously all wrong. This is based off a modern version. The classic version, when he was Marvel Boy, was a lot simpler in design, and he also wore a mask and you didn't see his face and hair. So you still need a classic looking Justice to complete that original team. And we are missing a member, which is of course the fleshed toned Namorita, not the version that comes in this wave. So we're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. Here we have an alternative version of Richard Rider, an earlier version of Nova in Marvel Legends form, in case you were curious. And then we have Rage, who wasn't a founding member, but was still a big part of New Warriors. And like I said, this costume design is based off Volume 5 of the New Warriors. So to have a more accurate looking display, here we have some figures that would fit. We have Speedball, of course, even though I don't think his costume design is bang on. We've got the Sam Alexander version of Nova, who's a little bit shorter. Then we got Kanan the Scarlet Spider. Now obviously there are more missing members, but at least these look pretty good together. You know what Marvel Legends are like. We're trying to world build, we're trying to complete teams, but we're missing members. Costume designs are all wrong depending on the era. It's a mess, but I'm trying, people. Honestly, I'm really trying. Sorry, I will try and compose myself. So here we have the High Evolutionary, who was the big bad of that comic run, in this costume as well. So these two pair together beautifully. And Justice was absolutely a member of the Avengers, so if you don't want to display him with your New Warriors, you don't have to. Display him with some Avengers. Here we have Captain America and Iron Man, but let me take them out of the way. That was my 20th anniversary in the Mark 70. This is the Ultimate Cap and the Extremis Iron Man armor. So yeah, Justice is a nice looking figure, and you can find a spot for him. Here we have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the brand new Black Panther in this very same Void Build-A-Figure wave. Go and check out the fuller review on the channel. Here we have some Squadron Supreme with Power Princess and Hyperion. Here we have the brand new Vision and Scarlet Witch. And not forgetting your favourite and mine, it is of course Crystar, not Crystar, despite the comments telling me I'm saying it wrong. It's Crystar, like a crystal. Crystar. Get it? Let's wrap up with some of the Who crew. So here we have Frogman, Tigra and Jocasta, who is reading out comments from the previous Marvel Legend review. So leave a comment below and she may pick you. Who have you picked today?
Masterban 9592 says, "Let Hank play his piece for For's sake."
And of course, last but never least, here we have Captain Britain. And hell, fire, Hank. Not now. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends The Void Build-A-Figure wave. Vance Astrovic, aka Justice. Now, for this particular version of Justice, it's a solid representation of that era in the New Warriors. It really is. Obviously, if the arms were pinless and the legs were pinless, I think there wouldn't be much to complain about apart from the lack of accessories. I know the cape being tooled in over the shoulders is going to be frustrating for some, but others will like it as it's aesthetically pleasing and looks very natural. But that is personal preference. You can't please everyone, unfortunately. The problem is with this era of the New Warriors, there's just a lot of obscure characters we are probably nowhere near getting in the Legends lineup, so it's going to be a long time before we complete that version of the team. This would have been better being a classic version of Justice or Marvel Boy, and then we're one step closer to completing that original New Warriors team, which I think a lot of people would prefer. But again, I'm just brainstorming, thinking out loud amongst friends. You let me know exactly what you're thinking in the comments below. Do you like this figure or not? Which version of Justice would you prefer? And as always, if you like Marvel Legends, you are absolutely in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all in the notification bell. Don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter, Dan Who Reviews, and TikTok, but you gotta find me, and I will of course see you on the next one.